Welcome back. You're watching World News and I'm your host, Klaudia Czerwińska. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán is once again stirring controversy, this time by suggesting Hungary could leave the EU. In response, Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski accused Orbán of sabotaging the EU alongside Putin and warned that, quote, "This is where theft and nationalism lead."
Viktor Orbán has turned Hungary into the EU's poorest country, and now he's threatening to leave. I'm not afraid of that threat. For years, he's been sabotaging the union in sync with Putin. Let this be a warning. Theft and nationalism lead here.
7 migrants were stopped overnight while trying to illegally cross into Poland from Lithuania. Interior Minister Tomasz Siemoniak shared the news on social media, adding that the group will be handed over to Lithuanian authorities.
Intensive night operations by our border guard and territorial defense forces at the Polish-Lithuanian border. At 1:20 a.m., 7 migrants attempting to illegally cross the border were apprehended. They'll be handed over to the Lithuanian side. A smuggler waiting for the migrants, a Latvian citizen, was also detained. No crossing allowed.
A handful of European interior ministers, including Poland's Tomasz Siemoniak, are discussing migration at Germany's highest mountain peak. We're now joined live by our correspondent Kazimierz Łysiak. Good morning, Kazimierz. So who's attending the summit and what do ministers actually hope to achieve today?
Hello, Claudia. We are standing here almost 3,000 meters above sea level at Zugspitze, the highest mountain peak in all of Germany. And here there are several interior ministers. Of course, the host German interior minister, but also from France, Austria, Denmark, Czech Republic and Poland's Tomasz Siemoniak are here to discuss migration. Migration is, of course, a highly divisive topic in the EU. We've spoken here a few minutes ago with the Danish interior minister and we asked him, well, will there be any clashes of opinions here today? And he said, we can expect different opinions, but of course all of that will be in a friendly atmosphere. But these are very different views on migration among these countries. For example, Poland's Tomasz Siemoniak will for sure be trying to convince his European partners to allow for Poland to be exempt from the EU migrant relocation scheme, the Migration Pact, where migrants are to be taken from countries in the south of Europe, from the south of the EU and distributed among EU member states. The government of Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk argues that Poland has already welcomed millions of Ukrainian refugees and it is also hard at work securing the eastern flank of NATO and the EU, for example with Belarus. Now, this summit also comes at a time when Germany and Poland are at a spat over migration. Poland says that Germany is sending some illegal migrants across the border to Poland. Because of that, Poland has reintroduced border checks with Germany and Lithuania. So this is for sure also going to be discussed between the interior ministers of Poland and Germany. Later today we are expecting a press conference, so we will bring you the latest in the afternoon. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you so much. Reporting from above 3,000 meters above sea level from Zugspitze, this was Kazimierz Łysiak. The EU's 18th sanction package against Russia has finally received buy-in from the 27 member states to be implemented. Energy is a key part of the package, with a dynamic oil price cap mechanism aimed at draining the Kremlin's energy revenues. TVP World correspondent in Brussels, Angela Skujins, has more.
After weeks of tense back-and-forth negotiations at the European Council, we've just received news that the 18th sanctions package, spearheaded by the EU against Russia, has received political endorsement. Now, ambassadors met in the Belgian capital early Friday morning to give their seal of approval to the deal. We heard Slovakia, one of the main antagonists against the package. He announced late Thursday evening that he would approve the 18th sanctions package after announcing that he has used his veto power a total of 6 times to block the measure. But he says that he has received the necessary guarantees from the European Commission that that Central European country won't fall foul of the EU's grand plan to phase out Russian fossil fuels by 2027. We also know Malta has been a major holdout, but what we're hearing from our sources is that the sanctions package at its core contains a dynamic oil price cap mechanism that instead of reducing the oil price cap from $60 US per barrel to $45 US per barrel, it will now roughly hover at $47.5 US per barrel. It will be adjusted to roughly 15% lower than the average market value, hopefully appeasing those member states that were firmly against this mechanism. We will find out more regarding this 18th sanctions package and that formal approval, but we've already heard from the EU's top diplomat, Kaja Kallas, one of the major champions of the sanctions package. She has posted on social media platform X that this is a big win for the EU. Hopefully we're going to hear more commentary from those EU affairs ministers later today. We will deliver more on this developing news story as it comes in. But my name is Angela Scoogens, reporting from Brussels for TVP World.
The British government has confirmed that plans for a multinational force in Ukraine are progressing, with the UK and France leading the establishment of command structures. The initiative is part of the UK's continued support for Ukraine's defense efforts, including a steady stream of substantial military aid.
Revealed that the first phase of planning for the multinational force in Ukraine has been completed, with over 200 military planners from 30 countries involved in the efforts. The international force will focus on supporting Ukraine's security after a potential ceasefire, with plans in place for modernizing Ukraine's land forces, enhancing air patrols and ensuring security in the Black Sea region. This announcement comes as Russian forces have continued their offensive, seizing over 550 square kilometers of Ukraine territory in June. The UK has pledged over £4.5 billion in military aid to Ukraine this year, with a continued focus on strengthening the country's defense capabilities and supporting the cooperation with Ukraine's NATO allies.
One of Russia's top universities has launched a new master's program aimed at reducing the impact of international sanctions, signaling that Moscow may be preparing for a long-term economic standoff. The program will teach students how to identify and manage risks related to sanctions and other restrictions imposed by foreign regulators. Annual tuition is approximately €5,400, with 20 spots for Russian students and 2 for international applicants. In addition to the full-time degree, the Higher School of Economics will offer a 136-hour professional course titled Sanctions Compliance. The course includes theoretical instructions and real-world case studies on an application of economic sanctions and compliance mechanisms. The initiative, reportedly the first of its kind in Russia, was first covered by the exiled Russian science outlet T-Invariant. To find out more about how Russians have been adapting to life under sanctions, read our analysis on tvpworld.com. Let's continue. A major data breach involving British special forces and intelligence agents has come to light following the partial lifting of court injunction. The breach also exposed thousands of Afghans who worked with the British military during the 20-year war in Afghanistan. The identities of over 100 British officials, including members of the SAS and MI6, have been exposed in a serious data breach linked to the Afghan relocation program. The leak, originally discovered in 2023 but kept secret under a court order, not only compromised British officials to foreign governments like Russia or Iran, but put at risk nearly 19,000 Afghans who supported British forces during the war. Many now face increased threats from the Taliban. The breach originated from a UK Special Forces office in London and ranks among the worst security breaches in modern British history. The UK has since created a classified resettlement program which has relocated over 4,500 people thus far and cost over £2 billion and counting. The White House has confirmed that President Donald Trump is suffering from chronic venous insufficiency, a condition that causes swelling in the legs after speculation over bruising seen on his hands.
The White House addressed growing speculation over President Trump's health, revealing he has been diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency, a condition in which leg veins struggle to return blood to the heart. The issue was brought to light following photographs of Trump's bruised hand and swollen legs, which raised concerns among the public. The White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt explained that the bruising on Trump's hand was caused by frequent handshaking and combined with his use of aspirin as a part of his cardiovascular prevention regimen. Leavitt reassured the public, saying there was no evidence of deep vein thrombosis or arterial disease. The condition, commonly found in people over the age of 70, doesn't pose significant risks on its own, but can cause discomfort due to blood pooling in the lower limbs.
This weekend, Poles from around the world will gather in Warsaw for the 2025 Polonia Camp. The event was created to bring the Polish diaspora together and help them reconnect with their roots. Over 1,000 Poles from 46 countries on 6 continents are said to be attending the event. Held at the Warsaw University of Life Sciences, the 2025 Polonia Camp will host discussion panels, concerts, workshops, and more. Poland's public broadcaster TVP is sponsoring the event. The patron of the camp, Speaker of the Senate Małgorzata Kidawa-Błońska, said the event is meant to help a new generation of Poles living abroad experience what's it like to be Polish. And so this marks the end of our news broadcast. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm Klaudia Czerwińska, and I do hope to see you back here on TVP World for more news and features in just a moment.